What is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans, and of course college football fans everywhere? Welcome to the Pictorial Network. I am Tyzilla83, and I need you to do some things for me after this video is over with. I need you to like, comment, share the content you're watching, and of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button down below. Alabama walks out of Fayetteville the same way that they walked in, and that's without breaking a sweat. At least not on offense. On defense, they most certainly were breaking a sweat. Arkansas went up and down the field on those guys. Austin Allen, despite being thrown to the turf nearly 30 times, 26 times he was knocked to the turf. Despite that, was still able to throw for 400 yards, throw 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he threw 3 picks, but you can give at least 2 of those to the offensive line. When you can't block and you're getting that much pressure, eventually the quarterback is going to make mistakes. And I don't know anybody who could get knocked to the earth that many times playing the quarterback position in this league and not throw that many picks. Arkansas's offensive line is absolutely terrible. Might be worse than Georgia's. And that's saying a lot because that offensive line is terrible. I don't know how by now, and remember we talked about this going into, Texas State, I think. We were going into, I think it was, or maybe it was Alcorn State. Regardless, we said it. There's some issues here. They're still trying to get them addressed, and we haven't even played Bama yet, and they're still trying to get these things fixed. I probably said it on more than one occasion. This is a problem. The offensive line from here on out, let's just believe that they're going to probably get outperformed by the defensive line. The other negative thing, it just goes without saying. I mean, I think both of these, everyone who watches this is like, yeah, we already know this, but I gotta point it out. The Arkansas's defense is absolutely horrendous. It's so bad that I honestly, for the first time, I don't usually like firing coaches mid-season. I've never been for that because then you have to make some pretty big changes, and sometimes you worry about how your players react to that firing and how that affects recruiting, especially when you do it in the middle of the year. I would condone a Rob Smith termination right now. This is now, his first year was great, but for whatever reason, it has been terrible since. 2015, 2016, it just feels like it's a downward slope to absolute oblivion. For this defense, how do you play this bad on defense 2 years in a row? That becomes your identity. It's when you look back and you see something trending in the wrong direction, that is your identity. It's really hard to just pick yourself back up, especially in the SEC. If you haven't got it figured out by now, I don't know. You know, and I'm hearing people say, well, I knew since they hired him he was a bad hire. No. Everybody was singing his praises after year one. Don't be one of those people. Oh, after his hire, I knew, even though he had a good first year. No. We were all singing his praises. We were all saying, please, give him the rubber stamp of approval and keep him here for life. We were all saying that because finally we had a good defense at Arkansas, and then we haven't since. It's been terrible. I mean, it's almost, this is as bad, if not worse, than some of the bad defensive Petrino years. You just can't have that. You can't rely on Austin Allen and throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game because your defense, along with your offensive line, because the product on the field is bad or because the play calling on the field is bad. You're not going to be able to do that in the SEC. You can't do that. You can't sustain wins. One of the two areas are going to have to improve a lot if they want to have a shot at a good bowl game. It's still within reach. I mean, Hugh Freeze said himself he feels like they're preparing for one of the best teams in the country. I would argue that maybe that's a overblown statement, but they are offensively. Arkansas is good. Could you imagine where they would be if this offensive line could pass block for this kid? Oh my gosh. I'm talking stats wise. I don't know how much of a difference that would make against either A&M or Bama. These are two of the best teams in the SEC. And when you're saying that, you're really saying these are the two best teams, two of the better two teams in the country. We know Bama's number one. A&M is not far behind. That's going to be a fun game. A&M and Bama. That's going to be fun. I don't know where you go from here. I really don't. I mean, I think you can get better, and I think they can improve in these two areas on defense and on the offensive line. But a part of me just wonders, is it just too late? Are they going to have to work with what they have and do their best? If that's the case, guys, I don't know. I'm looking at 6-6. You're looking at the toilet bowl. You're looking at the tax slayer bowl, the backyard football bowl. I mean, they got to improve one of those two areas greatly if they want any shot of getting to a good bowl game. I mean, obviously you want both those areas to be fixed, but that might be asking too much when you consider how bad they both are. In a perfect world, yes, I want both those areas to be greatly fixed, but and it can't be slight improvement in one or the other. It's got to be a big improvement. And here's the crazy thing. I think between the two, I think the offensive line is a little bit easier when you talk about salvaging compared to the defense, because the defense is going to be without Dre Greenlaw for a few weeks. It's just come out. Oh, yeah, by the way, Dre Greenlaw out probably 4 weeks. So if they'll get him back, it'll just be really late in the year. It's going to get hard. And I think the offensive line I think you bench 51 Froholt and you bring in maybe Zach Rogers or something. I don't know. I think it's fixable, and I think they can improve there. Why? Because it's Brett Bielema's, it's his bread and butter. And I think him and Anderson, I don't think Anderson's right now an absolute god-awful offensive line coach, because we don't really know. We're going to have to give him a full recruiting year, and we're going to have to give him another year before we fully know what he is. Then again, if they keep playing as bad as they've been on the offensive line, I could see them terminating Kurt Anderson and going to another direction. Rob Smith, I think his time has come and gone. If they don't improve, I don't know that I see them sticking with him if they don't improve. All right, that's it for me. You guys try to be kind to one another. Signing off. Peace.